Good morning. It is Thursday, January the 22nd of 2026. I am Chad Holmes. It is the Thursday edition of the Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO on the Civic Media app and also on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and the 98.9 WXCO channel. Coming up this morning in about, 13 minutes or so, we will be joined by Nancy Stencil, chairman of the Marathon County Democratic Party, talk about what's going on politically around the area, around the state, around the country, even around the world, because you never know what's going on with our president's saber rattling to countries in South America, in Europe, in Asia, and places in between as well. So Nancy Stencil with us coming up at 8:20 this morning. Also, coming up later in the program, we will have our number for the day quiz at the very end, just before 10 a.m. And of course, folks need to remember that the first hour and the second hour you can hear in two different spots. Here in hour number one, from 8 till 9, you can be with us right here on 98.9 WXCO, WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, Civic Media app and YouTube. Then in the second hour, we move over strictly online. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can stay right there. We won't go anywhere. Still on the WXCO YouTube channel. But then if you want to tune in audio-wise, you need to go to WXCO.FM and the Civic Media app, because then you have to go to the Sports 2 stream. Again, that's for the second hour. You can be with us there. And of course, if you miss any of what we're talking about, we always put our show up as a podcast. So if you are working or just can't be with us for either of our hours in the morning, we put it up just after 10 o'clock, and you can go to WXCO.FM, and on the news section right there on the front side of the page, you'll be able to see our daily show. Also, we'll be on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast. Just go to search WXCO News and subscribe to WXCO News. Then you'll be able to get our show and also the WXCO Daily News Roundup as well. So again, there's multiple ways to keep up with us each and every day here on the program, and just glad to be back. And of course, we've had a lot of very special guests recently, and I want to let people know here to start things off that we've had, I think, 6 of the gubernatorial candidates join us in the last few weeks. Next week, we're going to have a couple of folks who have been involved and are going to be involved in electoral politics in 2026. Well, first of all, Monday we'll have another gubernatorial candidate, as Fran Hong, one of the Democrats running for office, will be with us on Monday morning. Then on Tuesday morning, we'll be joined in studio by Yi Lang Zhang. And Yi, who had run for the state assembly in 2024, he is running for state treasurer in 2026. So we'll have a chance to ask him why he's doing that. What are the issues involved? What should we know about the position? I think a lot of folks are not totally familiar with what the state treasurer does. So we'll talk to Yi Lang Zhang coming up on Tuesday morning at 8:35. And then next Wednesday, very excited. Next Wednesday morning, we will have on this program for quite a bit of the first hour of the show. Somebody that we have not had on in a while. Used to have on a regular basis, but now she has not been really involved in uh, politics locally since about April of 2024, when there was a transition in the Wausau mayor office. But Katie Rosenberg, the former mayor of Wausau, she is running for the Marathon County Board in 2026. She will be back and joining us here in studio next Wednesday morning at 8:06. So very excited about that. Going to talk a little bit, of course, about some of the issues involved in the county board that she is animated about in terms of her run. But I want to ask her something that sort of is intriguing to me, because again, she is somebody that I think a lot of people just have the greatest appreciation for. But then there's those folks who throw a lot of elbows. And why does she want to come back and be involved? And I have an idea, but I want to hear her talk about it, and we're going to do that coming up next Wednesday morning. So again, I hope you can join us for that one, starting at 8:06. So again, that's a lot of great guests coming up here as we continue. It's going to be, I think, a very exciting year in 2026. A lot of interesting folks will come by and join us, and we'll have a chance to talk to. Also, really quickly, yesterday, I posted our podcast from yesterday. Of course, yesterday we had the Lieutenant Governor, Sarah Rodriguez, join us. And of course, on Tuesday, we had Missy Hughes, another candidate. And on Monday, we had Kelda Royce, who was a candidate. And somebody on my Facebook page asked, well, he was trying to be, smart. These types. Well, the Telecommunications Act of 1924 says, or this and this and this, is if Tom Tiffany wants to come on your program, will he be able to do so? And I said, and this is going to be, every one of the candidates for governor is going to be invited to be on this program, the exact same number of times as the others. And so Tom Tiffany is going to have an opportunity to come in here, sit across the table from me, and answer questions about his race for governor. The other Republicans are going to be invited to come here, whether in studio or whether through StreamYard, any way they want to do it, and talk about the issues of the campaign. I just found this to be humorous. This guy was trying to show how smart he was in terms of, if Tom Tiffany, or maybe I'm going to call the FCC, because we know how the FCC's been working under Donald Trump. Going to call the FCC and say that Chad Holmes is unfairly not allowing Republicans to come on his program and talk about the issues. No, whether it is the gubernatorial candidates, whether it's the Republicans that are running for the 7th congressional district, whether it is Republicans running for the county board, no matter who it is, they will be receiving invitations from me to appear on this program and talk about the issue. So for you Republicans out there who may be worried that Chad isn't going to be inviting Republicans to join him on the program, they will be having this opportunity. And I'm sure some of them are going to take me up on it. I'm sure some of them probably won't take me up on it, but I know there'll be some that will take me up on it. One of the 7th congressional district candidates is Kevin Herman. He's been on this show. He was on this show back when he was the president of the Mosinee School Board, and they had a referendum, and he came on, and we were able to have I think a very civilized conversation. We may disagree on many of the issues, but in that case, we actually agreed. But we'll come in, we'll talk about. I'm pretty sure he will come in. I have not had that chance yet to invite him, but I'm going to do that very, very quickly here. But again, I just found it almost laughable because, and I know I shouldn't even open up this box, but I'm going to open up this box because back, I don't know whether it was last year or the year before, there were some people that were talking about not being allowed on Mr. Conley's program over on WSAU. And he wrote an article basically saying that they can bring on anybody they want, and the reason they are able to do that is because their ratings are so good. It just shows that they know who the people want to listen to. So that they will be allowing certain people to come on because the ratings say that proves they're right, when that is just ridiculous. It's not about the ratings in these cases. It's about allowing folks to come in and speak to the listeners, because as I've said before, and as I will say over and over and over again, the idea is that this is not just a privilege that we have an opportunity to be in front of microphones and be able to speak to the folks here in central Wisconsin and throughout the country. I mean, I was moved yesterday in the second hour when we got that call from the young lady in Minnesota,
Yeah.
somebody that's from around here but tunes in and said long time listener, first time caller, and I hope that you out there who are tuned in right now, who have thought about calling in, take us up on it. 715-814-9330. But it was a very, I thought, very intelligent young lady who was able to talk about a couple of the issues that she was concerned about. And I hope that you folks out there are able to do so as well. And again, we have that open invitation. And it's not just an open invitation for people to call in and say that they agree with me. I would love to hear from you if you disagree with me or have an issue that we're not talking about that you would like to talk about. Feel free to join us at 715-814-9330. But we've had in the past, even in the recent past, folks that like to just throw out names anonymously on chats, and we're not going to take that. If you start doing that, we're not going to go in that direction.
Nope.
But again, the bottom line is, during the year 2026, the 250th anniversary of our founding, the Declaration of Independence, the idea of our system is about having debate, having battles of ideas.
Exactly.
And that isn't just bringing in one side of the aisle. And I said it in my comment, and I will say it here to put it out there to everybody, and to those folks out there who are running for office or newsmakers who would like to come in and sit down and talk to me about what's going on. My door is always open. My door is open. Reach out to me if I haven't reached out to you yet, and we will definitely try to set up a time for you to come on in. So I just wanted to let people know that, yeah, we've been very fortunate that we've had great response so far from some of these Democratic candidates. And I'm not going to apologize for bringing these Democratic candidates on, but I can promise you, and if you're out there listening, that you will have a chance if Tom Tiffany wants to come on to talk to me about the issues in this gubernatorial race. So there you go. Real quickly, Ian, and I know I haven't properly introduced you, but I got to mention the fact that, again, we are cold. It's 1 degree below zero here in downtown Wausau, wind chill of 12 below. There will be a extreme cold watch that goes into effect at 1 p.m. tomorrow, and that goes until Saturday at 12 noon. And an extreme cold warning will go tonight at 9 p.m. until tomorrow at 1 p.m. So again, we'll talk more about the weather as we continue, but just know that an extreme cold warning will be in effect for the entire listening area starting at 9 p.m. tonight. And that will change to an extreme cold watch tomorrow at 1 p.m. So again, bundle up if you're heading out anywhere.
Absolutely.
Coming up, we're going to talk some politics with Nancy Stencil, the Democratic Party chair. And by the way, if you're the Republican Party chair, you can come on in too, because my door is always open. Ian Welsh on that side. Ian, real quickly, are you doing well?
I'm doing good.
Will we have an announcement later?
Unfortunately, not yet.
Okay, so we'll talk more about that and more later in the program. The time is almost 8:20. Nancy Stencil coming up next here on 98.9 WXCO.
This is no social crisis, just another tricky day for you. You can't always get higher just because you aspire. You could expire even knowing. Don't push the hands, just hang on to the band, and you can dance while your knowledge is growing. Life is so strange when you don't know how can you tell where you're going to. You can't be sure of any situation. Something could change, and then you won't know. Where do we go from here? It seems so near, just as far beyond as I can see.
And welcome back, Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO, WXCO.FM, mobile devices, and Alexa by searching WXCO on the Civic Media app and on YouTube, youtube.com, and the 98.9 WXCO channel. And if you're watching on YouTube, you saw me gesturing wildly before we went on the air because I'm already talking here to Nancy Stencil.
You should be on TV instead. Yeah.
Nancy is the Democratic Party chairperson, as I said.
Good morning.
Who is the chairperson of the Republican Party these days?
You know, I'm not even sure. Is it still Kevin Hermaning or no? Maybe it's Hugendijk. I don't even know anymore who it is.
Oh, Jack. Oh, yeah. I think
Yeah,
probably
I'm
might
not
be
sure.
Jack, right?
You
Maybe.
should go look that up. I don't even know
But
anymore.
I mean, I'll be willing to talk to these folks because, doggone it, I am willing to talk to folks.
Mm-hmm.
Not like the guy down the street, but that's a whole different subject. But we're gonna move
Right.
on. We're gonna move on and talk. I wanted to ask you because I've been very. Number one, I have been impressed with how quickly these candidates got back to me and to come on the air for a
Yeah.
little radio
And it's
station here
so
in
needed
Central
up here.
Wisconsin.
You're so needed up here because it's we have to get that message out, and people up here are hungry for that information. It's things don't all happen in Madison and Milwaukee. We're the big one. There's no larger city further north.
And I was impressed the fact that they were quick about doing it and wanting to do it and talk to the people in this area
Yes.
because I do think that there have been times I'll speak for myself here and you can jump in as well that sometimes the Democratic Party focuses way too much on trying to run up the totals in Madison and Milwaukee and
Right,
not
yeah.
realizing that even if you don't get a majority of the votes in some areas of north central Wisconsin, every vote that's
Well,
got
you're
in
not
here-
going to get any more votes in central Wisconsin if you don't get out there and you don't try. And there are more progressive people here than you realize.
That's the thing too. You're exactly right in that case, and the idea, and I think there are people, especially when you get here in Wausau, especially
Mhm.
that are open to both sides of the argument.
They are. There are so many people that, they wouldn't be like a card carrying Democrat, whatever, but they align in every single way with, how you vote and whatnot. And those people need to be nurtured as well. I mean, what they say is valid.
And that just generally brings up the whole idea of I feel like there's still a bit of a disconnect for the national party and even the state party with what needs to be done to reach people outside again the normal base. And I think in this era. And again, we'll talk, I think, a little bit later generally about, maybe the national scene. But again, it just feels as though I would like to see more long-term thinking of trying to change people's viewpoint of the Democratic Party than just to try to win the next election.
Yes,
I think right now that's one thing that scares me is that, yes, Donald Trump is very unpopular and that could drag down the rest of the ticket. But what does that mean in 2 years after that? We want to have something that's a little more sustainable in order to truly
Instead
get
of
things
swinging
done.
back and forth to they don't like this, so they vote for that. I think as Democrats, we really need to start really standing up. We're not a group of elitists. We are
That's
that
true.
everyday person, that person that can't afford the groceries and whatnot. And the ones in the party that, are doing well need to speak up for those that can't because
Yeah.
they're busy working 3 jobs to try to make ends meet. They don't have time to be out there.
I wish I had made enough money to be an elite, but unfortunately, that's
Yeah,
not,
me
I know most
too.
of the people I see, I don't think are the elite.
No, and most of us aren't. We're average people.
What's been your take in listening to some of these candidates? I mean, I would be honored
It's
if you
a
heard
hard
them
one.
all.
I
But
think-
I'm not asking you for who do you think is ahead or behind or
No.
even who is impressed, but just generally in terms of how they're presenting themselves and talking about the issues and maybe even just trying to introduce themselves because that's basically what I'm trying to do here is trying to introduce these candidates because
Mhm.
it is a long process. The primary is not till August, and I think it should be a building process where
Yep.
these folks are able to talk about themselves a bit, talk about some of the issues that animate them. Do you think? And again, this is kind of a broad question that we're talking. Maybe even myself. You can tell me if I'm not asking the right questions. Are we
Mhm.
talking about the right things?
I think there are probably some of the candidates that need to be a little bit more quiet, listen more, and talk less, and in all, all of them, there's what do I wanna say? There are some that are kinda like the business as usual kind of Democrat, and then there are some that are standing out more, and I think those that are standing out for the average person that is saying groceries are high, and what can we do? Not just we know they're high. What about childcare? We know childcare is expensive, and things like that are probably the things really stick out to me because we're always yakking about them, but who's really doing anything? And then you have the people that they don't want to see. Oh, nope, can't have anybody paying for childcare, paying for this,
Right.
paying for that, but yet they don't mind giving that money to corporate America. They don't say a word about that.
By the way, I mean, I'm glad you put it that way because that's one of the things that I am trying to do, and I'm going to try to do throughout this year, whether it's a gubernatorial candidate, whether it's a congressional candidate, whoever
Mhm.
it may be, is it is so easy to fall into that trap where you ask a question and then they start talking and then they list off all these things that are problems, but you never get to a real solution or an idea about a
Right.
solution. And
And
it's a
that's
very
just it.
and
Put forth an idea.
but it's so easy to kind of fall into that trap because they sound good in saying it. Hey, you're nodding your head. Yeah, that is a problem. But then you get to the end of it, then, well, what is the idea? What is the plan?
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's what we have.
It's
And
easy to get out there and say, I want to see Wisconsinites get childcare. And this is how we could do this.
I would challenge myself and everybody else asking these questions to think of that. And I would also challenge the listeners to be listening closely for what's the fluff and what is the real meat of an idea. So
Yeah. Yep.
we're going to take a quick time out here for the information update and then come back with more with Nancy Stencil. The time is 8:30 here on WXCO. You're playing our Donald Trump song. People got to be
You got me in your
crazy
mind.
to want a guy like him. Yes, the country. I am Chad Holmes. That is Ian Welsh pushing the buttons and picking the music for us.
I
Chad
would
Holmes
play the
Show.
song because it's the truth.
He always plays such good music.
Why? You got to be crazy to want a guy like me, Donald says. 826, 1 degree below zero here in downtown Wausau. We're talking politics with Marathon County Democratic Party chairperson Nancy Stencil. I think yesterday, because it was the 21st, for whatever reason, that inauguration day. So we're we're 1 year in, but I was driving in this morning. I was thinking about it, and it's exhausting.
It is. You can't even call it a dumpster fire. I mean, the whole dump is on fire.
That gives dumpster fires a bad rap.
It really does. Yeah, it's
But
too small of a receptacle.
I'm gonna maybe say something somewhat semi-controversial, and
Okay.
I get these.
Let's do it.
I get these emails all the time from political folks, including Tammy Baldwin.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring it up maybe here to see what I've been getting. Where is this, Baldwin? Yesterday. This is a good idea. But I think that this is the kind of stuff that we were getting done during the Biden administration. It says Senator Baldwin leads bill to cap credit card late fees at $8. Great. Terrific.
Mm-hmm.
But the stuff I'm getting out, it's like, I'm thinking, like you say, the
Didn't
world is
we
on
have
fire.
that?
The world's on fire right now with the president of the
Yeah.
United States breaking law after law. And the stuff I'm reading from Democratic elected officials in Washington doesn't seem to acknowledge what the reality is right now.
Well, one thing it is important because if you have credit card debt,
I'm not
and
saying that the
there's-
issue is wrong.
No, it's not.
But it's like
amongst everything that's going on right
it's
now,
like
it's
like the old line. Remember, I think it was about Hitler. Well, at least you got the trains arriving on time. I mean, it's like, no, that's not the point here.
exactly. No, we need to be very cognizant of what is going on. I mean, you have a president that literally tore the state of Minnesota, Minneapolis, let's just say Minneapolis,
Yeah.
apart. And now he's heading to Maine.
By the way, and I was thinking about this as well, because when I'm driving, I think too much. I don't recall in 2024 the big discussion about how the city of Minneapolis was this area that we needed to send United States troops into.
No,
That's
it's a Democratic city. That's why. They didn't vote for Donald.
But that's the thing that I just keep thinking over and over again. I go back to, I think it was 2010's election that Walker got first elected. And again, he did not say that he was going to push through what turned out to be Act 10 and all this other stuff that led to all the controversy. But Republicans are so good about running for office, talking about certain things, and then forgetting all about that once they get into office and they start going after their enemies.
Yep.
Or doing things
they lie to you, they garner your vote, and then slam, you get it.
But again, what Donald Trump did during the 2024 campaign, he just lied. He just said, "Oh, Project 2025. I don't know anything about that.
I don't know what that is."
And he's going right down the
here
line.
we are.
But at a certain point here, I don't know what I know what the answer is. I think that voters need to start asking these folks to be a little bit more honest and start penalizing them for not being honest in the campaigns, and not trust them that they're going to do what they actually talk about in a campaign. Instead, they go off in these other areas that they sort of keep secret because they know it's not popular once they get into office. That's just me.
No, it's not just you. That's all the rest of us too. And it's right out of a playbook. We need to. How do we wake up the people that have just turned it all off?
Well,
that's always my biggest part.
Let me ask you, as a leader locally of the Democratic Party, I still think that the messaging that we get from Democratic leaders, and I was talking about the national leaders, it was just not.
It's not
ready.
Resonating up here at all. And we need to have our own message that stands strong. We've got a ton of great party leaders throughout the Northwoods that are doing great things. And I think we need to be, they say they're listening to us, but I think there needs to be more listening and more. Well, I think our party leaders need to do more as well, to stand up, to speak out, not to be afraid to speak out.
And I understand the balance that is needed between pragmatism and maybe uh, what's the proper word? When you're dreaming big or whatever it may be,
Yeah.
you're thinking about in that way, because pragmatically, I know the idea right now that both in the state of Wisconsin and also nationally that both the Republicans are in control of both houses of the state legislature and both houses of the national legislature, and that there's certain limitations because of that. But
Right.
but the idea of Chuck Schumer consistently basically poo-pooing the folks that
That's
really,
what's turning people
yeah,
off.
they're not acknowledging the passion of the people they're going to need in order to win these elections.
Exactly. Yeah, I think the average person feels that those people are too out of touch. And even on a state level, we need to get back to basics. What people are, what that factory worker, what that fast food worker is, what their issues are, and that's what we need to do something to help them. They feel like they're not being helped at all. Even if you don't attain it, at least say, this is what I want to see done. This is my game plan of how I want to execute it. And if it doesn't work, that's one thing, but at least you've been out there and you've tried. I think the general public is just tired of business as usual.
And that's again one of I think again, you hit on the head. And the idea of saying, well, we're just going to basically give Donald Trump enough rope. That's not, again, a
No,
positive. I think I think I bring this up to you almost every time we talk, that the combination has to be there. Yes, Donald Trump being unpopular will help Democratic candidates up and down the ballot in November of this year. But again, I think for those of us who think a little deeper, it's not just about winning elections. It's about what do you do when you do win
right.
elections.
It's what do you do to serve the people? And I've been scrolling yesterday and I saw one where I think it's important to serve the people. And this particular post was supposed to be funny. It was not. It was Corey Tomchuk, and he was having Frosty arrested because Frosty was anti-ice. Why do you want to play into this kind of rhetoric? I mean, it's not
Yeah,
it's not funny at
no.
all.
That's it. I mean, it's almost, again, I don't mean to be overly critical of some certain Democrats, but that seems to be their only play right now. So is to point and say, yeah, aren't these guys terrible? I think we need to look at, again, some of the Democrats that are
To
trying to
stand up
lift
and say this is
that,
unacceptable.
but also, again, that if we do have this idea to do this, it's going to make things better. That's going to be different, and I think that's what people are also craving, something that is different,
Something that they can actually latch onto and believe in.
bold. I think people
Big and
crave
bold. We talk about this all the time. We say Mamdani, because he had people that went out there to find out what are the people asking for, and these are the issues he ran on. And we do have candidates out there that are running for governor that are doing just that. I mean, people are talking about like childcare. I mean, my God, if you've ever had to pay childcare, I mean, it's been a while for me, but I can remember how hard that was, and it's got to be like a whole lot worse right now.
It's so much harder to be a Democrat running for office when you talk about, okay, what you're saying here, because, okay, let's compare Democratic candidates, Republican candidates. It's so much easier for a Republican to say, no, we don't want to spend that money. I mean,
Yeah.
It's so easy to say no all the time when you have, and now all of a sudden you got candidates who want to, okay, we want to have better childcare. We want to have healthcare access. Again, that's one of the things.
It's easy to say we don't want to spend that money because that's a buzzword that people say, well, yeah, my tax dollars. And they're right, my tax dollars. But where are your tax dollars going then?
And we have
maybe you need to look a little further what Republicans are doing with your tax dollars.
And so, I mean, and I know that you can cherry pick, different surveys and reports, but so many have shown that $1 of government investment multiple times over helps people.
It does.
The Republicans
Yes.
think we're idiots because
Yeah.
when they say, "Well, we're just going to with the surplus in Madison, we're just going to give it back to the taxpayers," or we're just going to, or when you're talking
you
about,
turn around and tax them on what you gave them.
but and also talking about well, Trump's idea, and I use that term very loosely when it comes to the subsidies for healthcare insurance. We're just going to give the people the money to be able to then to choose what they want to do, which again is the worst way to get the most out of that
Because you're
amount of
never
money.
going to give them enough money to make anything sustainable for them.
Exactly. So
You know, people will look at it face value. Oh, he's going to give every household $5,000. You know, for just
that won't get you one night in the hospital.
right.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
like if you get seriously ill,
Yeah.
you are gonna. That will not take you anywhere.
And I hate to look at $5,000 that way because, yeah, in the general public,
But doesn't it-
$5,000 is a lot of money.
Doesn't
Yes,
that
it is,
remind
but-
you back? I mean, I bet I'm assuming you remember this. I remember this many years ago when Dave Obey was running for office, and he was talking about was it a lousy like $1.2 million? He was talking about in the big picture of the entire budget,
Mhm.
and Republicans jumped all over that. Oh, he doesn't realize the amount of money that no, he understood more than anybody.
Yes.
In terms of you look at defense spending and the like, instead of $1.1 million, or it's like billions and trillions of dollars. And again, Republicans kind of use that simplistic thinking, and too many people start nodding in approval from it.
They do, yeah. Because, yeah, you're not really thinking the whole thing through.
Because again, government investment, and I would encourage folks to look into this. There's been many studies that show that the investment that's put in by governments for every dollar, $3, $4, $5, $10, $20 comes back.
Yes.
Either into people's pockets or into the economy. And
Right.
again,
it's coming back in. They're not seeing it in a lump sum.
And
but
unfortunately-
it's working for them.
and unfortunately, and we've seen this all the time, and people always talk about the idea that Democrats have to be a little bit more straightforward, but it's not easy at times to talk about some of the important proposals that you have. It's so much easier just to be sitting there saying no, instead of saying, okay, this may sound like we're spending a lot of money, but you're going to get more back. But we have such a short attention span.
Right.
in
They don't
this.
believe it because they don't see it immediately.
And that's the thing about again, you go back to the Biden administration and the whole idea of the infrastructure bill. It kept, I think, the economy going in the right direction, but it didn't happen in a huge explosive way. And all of a sudden it doesn't count.
Yeah.
It just. You want to stick around for a few more minutes?
I sure will.
All right, we'll come back and wrap up the hour with Nancy Stencil as we continue talking politics here on this Thursday morning. The time is 8:48. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
Alone, though I knew that there was something wrong, and a feeling that feels so strong about you. Then you gazed up at me, and the answer was plain to see, 'cause I saw the light in your eyes. In your eyes. Time, time, time. See what's become of me.
Chan Home Show 98.9 WXCO. Again, just a reminder that here in the first hour, we're with you on 98.9 WXCO, WXCO.FM, mobile devices, Alexa, by searching WXCO Civic Media app and the 98.9 WXCO YouTube channel. Then from 9:06 until 10 o'clock, you can keep with us on the YouTube channel and also tune in on WXCO.FM and the Civic Media app and the Sports 2 stream. I got to mention something to you because yesterday,
Yeah.
yes, I'm trying to get more folks to call in.
Yeah.
Just
I
trying to
wish
get,
they would. Yeah.
I
Keep
want to get
telling
more people to
to.
call in the second hour during our online hour. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
half the time I think, oh, is there anybody out there have they come with us online?
Mhm.
And I got a call from this young lady. I think she said she was 22 years old. She's from this area.
Yeah.
And she lives in Minnesota now.
Okay.
And just called in, and her attitude, even though there's all this stuff going on in her backyard
Mhm.
and all these issues going on, and she's somebody that works in health services,
Okay.
and just came across as with the right attitude. And I sometimes think maybe my attitude gets a little bit off on tangents as well. But it just reminded me, and it kind of stayed with me all day, that we have this young lady, 22 years
Mhm.
old, who just said, I never called in before. I wanted to call in just, and talk a little bit about these certain issues. These people are out there, and sometimes I think we forget that.
Yeah, we do. There are so many good people out there. You and I were talking off the air but how do you get them involved? But then I have to ask myself, what does involved look like? Maybe they already are. Maybe I need to cut them some slack. Maybe they're talking to people at the grocery store. Maybe they're talking to their neighbors. And yeah.
That pops into my head. I know that you are involved a lot in recruitment of candidates. How is that going?
And that's something we need to pay more attention to as well. Labor does a lot of it in this area, and we're all focused on Donald Trump.
Mhm.
But yet when you look at your politics that happen in your backyard that really have so much to do with your everyday life, that's what you need to pay attention to. Support your county board people, your city council people, on up to the state level. Like he just announced for state treasurer.
Mhm. And he'll
Take
be
a
on
dig in.
Tuesday morning.
Yes, take a dig in there. Well, listen to him then, because he's got so much to say about. It seems like it's a nothing position, but it really affects so many people.
Oh, you're exactly right, Dan.
And we have a lot of great people in this area, like Yi, and like Katie. I'm so glad that she's running for county board again to get things out there. These are the change makers in our community, the people that really care about your community.
And as I'll say for myself, as I get older, I get inspired when you see younger people that
Mhm.
have the passion, because, and I think I've said this to you before, because one of the hard things about, I think, the last 10 years is the thought that so much damage is being done that, frankly, I don't think I'm going to live to see some of this damage fixed. And that's depressing.
Right.
But then you do see these younger people that want to be involved, and that does lift you up.
It does, because it's not so much about we hope things will happen immediately for you and I, but we have to look to the next generation beyond that. What kind of world are you leaving?
And by the way,
people?
one little editorial comment I'll make, I think one of the many things that I think is just so disturbing about a man like Donald Trump is I get the sense that he wouldn't mind if he just blew everything up on the last day of his life, and that's sad to think.
Right? Yeah, that's what you want to leave.
That he doesn't want. He doesn't care about what happens after he's gone, because he'll be gone.
Exactly. I think you're exactly right.
I think true leadership does think about what's going to be left behind 50, 100, 250 years.
Yeah. What did I do that made a difference?
Will this country have a 300th birthday or
Will it?
350th birthday or a
Right.
500th birthday?
And it's going to take all of us in if we all just do a little bit.
By the
We'll
way,
get there.
I know you were involved in so many of the get-togethers, the protests, whether it's at Tom
Mhm.
Tiffany's office or others.
Yeah.
I was saying to Ian yesterday, with summer coming up in the 250th day, have you heard any rumbles of something major? I mean, thinking back, because
I really haven't. We need to be a little bit more far-reaching in our thought.
let me throw, because MLK Day was on Monday. And
Yeah.
you recall back the March on Washington and stuff like that.
Right.
Why aren't we having some? I mean, I was thinking to myself, if there was something in Washington in the summer, I might just get in my car and drive out there, because I do think it's
Heck
time.
yeah, let's go.
But I think,
Um,
but it feels like why I understand the smaller ones, and they've been wonderful, and we saw the No Kings and all that.
mhm.
But and again, maybe I'll start.
Well, and
I'll set it up in
I
Washington.
had a young person that came up to me too and said they felt so good, so empowered going to a protest, but she said, but then when I left, she said, which really made me think too, we need an action item. What comes next? What do you do? And just trying to capture people and say, what do you feel comfortable doing? I mean, is it like writing a letter? Is it
Right.
calling your person, you're elected or whatever? But to give people hope going forward and giving them an action item to be
But
a part of things more.
But I think the first part you said, when the people were doing something, going there and being part of it,
Yeah.
what it does to us inside, because I think there's a lot of people that feel helpless when you see.
There are, and that is something I do see where, you get cars going by, you get more thumbs up than you get fingers, but you get the occasional person that's trying to, like hit the slush puddle and let you have it, whatever.
They must feel they're really big people, I tell you, really big,
But at the same time, I look at those people with the thumbs up and I think they are people that are looking like, oh, there is somebody that aligns with me.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that, again, we are what, about 10 months away or something like that from election day. I am so curious to see what happens, because I do
Yeah.
think that we're going to find out a lot about this country in November.
Yes, we are. Every little bit of the puzzle, every piece makes the whole.
Thank you, Nancy Stencil. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Hey, come over online next hour. Join Ian and myself here on the YouTube channel and WXO.FM. On Thursday night, it's a first-place showdown in Wisconsin Valley Conference hockey as Wausau West plays host to Stevens Point. Hear all the exciting action live on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app, starting with the pregame show at 6:35 and the opening face-off at 7 p.m. Wausau West Hockey on 98.9 WXCO is brought to you by Sun Printing, the Wausau West Athletic Department, Cloverbelt Credit Union, sponsor of the Cloverbelt Credit Union broadcast booth, Rocket Industrial, and the Wausau Business Show, the Wausau Cyclones, the Wausau West Hockey Booster Club, Four Seasons Golf of Wausau, and Mike Whitmore Construction. It's Wausau West versus Stevens Point in high school hockey. Thursday night, starting with the pregame show at 6:35, opening face-off at 7 on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM. Mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app.
Local radio thrives when it serves the community. WXCO is no different, and we're looking to add someone to our staff that is well connected around town. Someone who can help our local businesses increase traffic and their visibility among our audience. From connecting clients with high school sports, local news and weather, or the Chad Holmes Show. If you know local business owners, we'd like to get to know you. If you'd like to know more about this opportunity, send me, Chad Holmes, a message at chad.holmes@civicmedia.us. That's chad.holmes@civicmedia.us. And let's set up a time to talk. Local radio thrives when it serves the community. WXCO is no different, and we're looking to add someone to our staff that is well connected around town. Someone who can help our local businesses increase traffic and their visibility among our audience. From connecting clients with high school sports, local news and weather, or the Chad Holmes Show. If you know local business owners, we'd like to get to know you. If you'd like to know more about this opportunity, send me, Chad Holmes, a message at chad.holmes@civicmedia.us. That's chad.holmes@civicmedia.us. And let's set up a time to talk.
A game without a crowd.
Good morning. The time is 9:09, currently 1 degree below zero. It is the Chad Holmes Show here on 98.9 WXCO. Ian, I got to go in and turn on our stream because our stream is not on. So I'm going to introduce Ian Welsh. Give me a minute and I'll be right back.
Sounds good. Well, it is the 22nd of January of 2026. The temperature right now is 1 degree above zero. Unfortunately, it is going to get a lot colder as we get into tonight. It's going to be in the negatives, and it's going to be very Arctic-like. So for the next couple of days, the temperature is not going to get above zero like at all. So make sure that you are prepared. Make sure you allow for extra time to warm up your cars. Make sure you have extra layers on, hat, gloves, scarves, and everything.
I apologize to folks who may have tuned in on WXCO.FM and the Civic Media app Sports 2 stream because I had forgotten to switch on our switch over between the hours. I was still talking to Nancy, and all of a sudden it's like I hear the music starting. Oh, I forgot to do that. So I have to run back and do that. So hopefully now everybody is still tuned in. Glad you could be with us here on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, and of course the Sports 2 stream. And again, also on YouTube, youtube.com, and our 98.9 WXCO channel. As Ian was talking about, we have overcast skies right now, 1 degree above zero. So we were 1 degree below zero. Now we're 1 degree above zero, but that wind chill factor is 11 below zero. And we will have an extreme cold warning that goes into effect tonight at 9 p.m. So again, an extreme cold warning going into effect this evening at 9 o'clock. That affects basically the entirety of central and northern Wisconsin. If you look at the map, it's basically all over the place. The entirety, of course, of the 98.9 WXCO listening area. For the extreme cold warning, dangerously cold wind chills of 35 to 45 below expected. For the extreme cold watch, which will begin after the conclusion of the extreme cold warning, the warning goes until 1 p.m. tomorrow, and then the watch goes from 1 p.m. tomorrow until Saturday at 12 noon. But so again, over the next number of days, these dangerously cold wind chills could cause frostbite on exposed skin in as little as 10 minutes. Also, keep pets indoors as much as possible. Dress in layers, including a hat, face mask, and gloves if you must go outside. And also, to prevent water pipes from freezing, wrap or drain or allow them to drip slowly, because you don't want to have any pipe issues because of the very cold weather.
That's right.
Looking quickly at our forecast, and of course, you get the forecast twice a day, 24/7 on 98.9 WXCO. But here, we'll let you know that there is a chance of flurries today, some patchy blowing snow as well later this afternoon. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and cold. Temperatures will rise to near 6 degrees above zero by noon, then fall to around 1 below zero during the remainder of the day. And those wind chill factors between 15 and 25 below zero. And actually, today, we're not under the winter storm. I should say winter storm. The extreme cold weather watch or warning at all today, not until later tonight. Then tonight, partly cloudy, a chance of flurries before 7 p.m. The low will hit 23 below zero. Wind chill factors between 35 and 45 below. So again, late tonight, if you can, just put another blanket on the bed, stay under the covers. Tomorrow, sunny and cold, a high near 10 below zero.
Oh, boy.
Wind chill factors between 35 and 45 below zero. Friday night, partly cloudy, a low of 26 below zero. Saturday, partly sunny and cold, a high of 2 below zero. And then finally, Sunday, the temperatures will get back above zero. Sunday, partly sunny and cold, a high near 7 above zero.
It's only going to last for a couple of days, but you still need to be prepared.
Yes, you do. It is winter, I tell you. It is winter. And
Yep, no denying it.
if you want to talk about winter or talk about anything else that's going on, we would love to hear from you. Again, our phone lines are open. Ian is sitting by the phone, and we do it the old-fashioned way here. We don't use any buttons on apps or anything else, because if you hit the button on the app, you'll be connected to our network programming. Right now, Greg Bach is on the air for mid-mornings, Civic Media mid-mornings, and that's on 98.9 WXCO. But if you want to join us, and we have always open lines because we want to know what you're thinking, you can join us at 715-814-9330. That's 715-814-9330 to be with us here on our online only hour here weekdays. And
that's right.
Of course, don't forget that you can join us, I should say, get us as a podcast as well, sometime after 10 a.m. and be able to tune in on Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, by searching WXCO News. You can go to our website, WXCO.FM. There under the WXCO News section, you'll be able to find our daily podcast as well. And you can also go to civicmedia.us under the shows, highlight WXCO. Then you'll see all the shows that we have. And just go down to WXCO News, click on that, and then you'll be able to find our podcast as well. So, again, there's a lot there. And, again, we appreciate you being with us each and every weekday morning here on 98.9 WXCO. Did not really give you a proper introduction back in the first hour.
It was a very a busy first hour, though.
It was a busy first hour, and it was a good first hour. And it's always great to have Nancy Stencil join us here on the program, talk about politics and what is going on politically. But of course, across the way, behind the glass, is our in-studio engineer, Mr. Ian Welsh. Good morning.
Good morning, Chad.
Well, any word yet?
No, I was checking my phone every once in a while. Last night, I was hoping to see at least something before I went to bed, and there's still nothing. I haven't even checked my phone this morning because I figure if I just pretend like I don't care about it, maybe it'll show up unexpectedly.
All right. Well, I'm thinking you'll probably have a good chance based on your record, but good luck on trying to get that part again. It is for the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. Is that the correct title?
That's correct. That's the whole title.
Wausau Community Theater, a show that will be coming up in late March. And of course, great productions with WCT and other area, the theatrical groups here in the Wausau area. So
Yeah.
you're up to what, 70? How many? 70?
Well, I recently just finished my 77th show last November when I did a Sweeney Todd with WCT. So 77th. is the one.
77. Wow.
Yeah. It's I love doing theater. I don't do it for the numbers. I don't do it for the popularity. I do a theater because it's fun. It's a great place to make friends. And I just love to step into another character and I love the challenges of acting and singing and dancing, and it.
All
It's a
right.
nice little break from just a small break from reality once in a while is always good.
Very good. I want to let people know that tonight we have ourselves a major high school hockey broadcast. Two of the top 3 teams in the state of Wisconsin, potentially a Wisconsin Valley Conference championship on the line. I'll be at the Marathon Park Ice Arena this evening as the Wausau West Warriors, 17-1 overall. They are 5-1 in the Wisconsin Valley Conference, take on the Stevens Point Panthers. They come in with a record of 14-2 overall, 6-0 in the conference. Stevens Point ranked 2nd in the state. Wausau West ranked 3rd in the state. Should be a fantastic environment, packed house, I would imagine, at Marathon Park. If you can't make the game, you can tune it in right here on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices, and Alexa by searching WXCO on the Civic Media app, starting with the pregame show at 6:35 and the opening face-off at 7. So again, Wausau West hockey against Stevens Point. Great rivalry, big game tonight, 98.9 WXCO. Also, a sports note. I was bummed out last night because heard that the Milwaukee Brewers traded their best pitcher. And of course, they waited till after Pat Murphy, the Brewer manager, made his appearance at the Grand Theater earlier this week. Actually, on Monday night, I heard they had a sellout crowd for Pat Murphy, had a wonderful time over at the Grand. Very personable guy, manager of the year. He had, a great event with Sean Wright in the Grand Theater on Monday night. But last night, the Brewers traded Freddie Peralta. Peralta was 5th in the National League Cy Young voting last year, had a National League best, 17 wins, outstanding ERA of 2.70. He's a workhorse. He had made more than 30 starts for the 3rd year in a row. And the Brewers traded him. The Brewers traded him and swingman pitcher Tobias Myers for 2 prospects from the New York Mets. Guys named Brandon Sproat and Jet Williams. The thought is the Brewers were not going to be able to sign him to a contract extension. He was going into his final year before going into the free agency pool. But this year, he was a bargain. I mean, pitchers like Peralta would be worth 3 and 4 times the amount of money the Brewers are going to be paying, would have paid him this year, what the Mets are going to be paying him this year. He's going to He's on an $8 million contract this year, but after this year, he'll become a free agent and in all likelihood get a major increase. And the Brewers decided, nope, we're not going to try to re-sign Peralta. And the thing is, Peralta had signed a team-friendly deal a number of years back, so the Brewers got some great production for not a high price, but it just, I think it's dumb. I'm going to go out there and say it.
That does seem like a dumb move.
I understand. Okay, I'm going to say, what the Brewers are trying to do here. The Brewers are saying, well, we weren't going to be able to sign him anyway, so now we're going to get a couple of prospects who are going to be low price, and they could turn into something really good. They might not turn into something really good. We don't know yet. But it's just, that's the way the Brewers do it. And you have to admit, it's worked pretty well. They traded Corbin Burns a few years ago, right before he became a free agent. They've continued to win. But the idea is, are they going to continue to win forever by getting rid of their best players? I don't know.
It's hard to say.
And the thing about it as a fan, and I'm maybe a different kind of fan. I actually, when I root for my team, I also do care about who's in the uniform. There's an old adage that a lot of sports fans, they just root for the laundry. It doesn't matter who's in the Packer uniform. It doesn't matter who's in the Brewer uniform. It doesn't matter who's in the Buck uniform. It doesn't matter. We're just going to root for them, and that's it. For me, it has mattered. It does matter to me. I want the right guys in those uniforms, and I think a guy like Peralta was the right guy in that uniform. So, at the same time, I'm just frustrated by it. I'm bummed out by it. When I heard it last night, I got bummed out immediately. So again, so what the Brewers are getting. Sproat appeared in 4 games for the Mets last year and made 26 appearances at AAA. And Williams is a 22-year-old shortstop. The Mets have an all-star shortstop in Francisco Lindor, so really nowhere for him to play. So we'll see what he does, but I mean, he could be a player. He might not be a player. I don't know. But it just bums me out that the Brewers traded their best pitcher and one of the best pitchers in the National League, Freddie Peralta, yesterday. So we'll see.
Yeah. You have to wait and see what happens.
I know. So also another story that I came across on my baseball newsletter that I get every morning from Craig Calcaterra.
Yeah.
It kind of, again, the intersection of sports, baseball, and politics. And this story does intersect baseball and politics. There's a San Francisco Giants outfielder named Jung Ho Lee. He was detained by Border Patrol after arriving at LA International Airport last night on a flight from Korea. That's where he's from. He's from Korea.
Oh.
He was let go shortly after, but the San Francisco Chronicle said the Giants worked through Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi's office, who in turn got the feds in effect to get Lee released. His agent, Scott Boris, referred to it all as a paperwork issue and seemed to blame his own client for the detention.
Oh, boy.
I mean, but maybe. But I mean, the thing about it is he was released because he was a Major League Baseball player. The Giants had contacts with Nancy Pelosi, who had contacts with the Border Patrol. If this would have been just another person who may have had just some sort of issue with paperwork, who knows where he would have ended up?
Yeah.
Oh, I just got news. Breaking news. I was talking about our hockey broadcast tonight.
Oh, yeah?
Game has been postponed.
Oh,
Doggone it.
because of the cold?
Yep, doggone it.
Oh, boy.
Game has been postponed. Makeup date to be announced. Doggone it. I was looking forward to it. So, breaking news. Tonight's Wausau West hockey game. 3rd-ranked Warriors against the 2nd-ranked Stevens Point Panthers.
At least you don't have to go out in the freezing cold tonight, then.
Well, you are Mr. Silver Lining here, but I wanted to go in the freezing cold because
I try to be.
but they're going to play it eventually.
Yeah.
So, no Wausau West hockey against Stevens Point tonight. So, and again, you know what, they're trying to be safe, as we do have that warning that will be going into effect at 9:00 tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Extreme cold warning, and you got kids traveling from Stevens Point, and again, it's not that far, but at the same time, any trip when it's extreme cold is a little bit of a
It
risk.
can be dangerous.
So I think we're just trying to be doing the safe thing for the student athletes. So again, eventually the game will be played. But doggone it, first Peralta gets traded and now the game gets postponed. I need silver linings here badly right now.
I certainly hope you get a silver lining, because that really sucks in the world of sports when things like that happen.
You're right. No,
Like you said, though, I mean, if that was any other a person who was coming from Korea to the United States and they weren't a famous baseball player, I mean, they could have ended up in a situation a lot worse.
Right, and that's the thing, and that's another thing that really bothers me.
Yeah.
And I mean generally about in some areas of the country, whether it's in this situation or even sometimes when it comes to the justice system, because the symbol of the justice system is justice is blind.
Yeah.
So Lady Justice has a blindfold on.
Lady Justice has a scale. She has a blindfold.
Yes.
A blindfold on, because a justice is supposed to be I think it's supposed to be blind.
Yes,
right?
and unfortunately, I don't think it is blind these days. I think that
I think someone is opening up the blindfold.
I think
and taking a
sometimes
peek.
Yes, I think sometimes when folks think if they have money to get the best attorneys, or if they have contacts, and frankly, justice is not blind under Donald Trump. I mean, anybody who's read
the scale, for one thing,
anybody who's read the pardons that the president has given realize that
it's ridiculous.
And there's basically been almost proof. I mean, that there's a pay for play system, which means you pay and you get a pardon. You give a lot of money to a Trump super PAC, you get a pardon. And in fact, there's one woman who's already been pardoned twice by Trump. She got pardoned one time for something, and then she got into trouble again and got pardoned again. And they gave money to a big Trump super PAC. So, all right, I need to take a deep breath here because I'm trying to digest all this information. We're going to get an information update. We're going to have Isabella's newscast coming up, and then we're going to come back with more. And again, we would love to hear from you. Hey, if you have ideas on the Brewers trade, let us know. If you have ideas on Donald Trump, let us know. 715-814-9330. 715-814-9330. More to come. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
For WXCO News, I'm Isabella Nieto. Across rural Wisconsin, residents are traveling farther for care as hospitals close and staffing shortages grow. Lieutenant Governor and Democratic gubernatorial candidate Sarah Rodriguez says rural health care must be a top priority. In an appearance on the WXCO Morning Show, Rodriguez said decisions made in Washington are putting additional strain on rural hospital systems that already operate on thin margins.
They're having cuts to Medicaid, cuts to Medicare. This is going to hit our rural hospital systems way harder than it's going to hit our suburban and urban hospital systems.
Rodriguez said keeping hospitals open is essential if Wisconsin wants rural areas to grow.
They're going to have housing, they're going to have childcare, and they're going to have a healthcare system that isn't 4 hours away to be able to deliver a baby.
Rodriguez says there's a severe workforce shortage, compounding access problems, especially outside urban centers.
We're going to be short about 20,000 nurses in the next 5 or 6 years. I mean, it's that dire of a situation. We're also short of clinicians in our rural spaces, physicians, nurse practitioners, physician assistants.
Rodriguez said as governor, she would focus on incentives to bring healthcare workers to underserved communities.
Whether that is assistance with loan repayment, whether that's assistance with down payment on a home, something that we can financially entice providers to be able to go into places where we have a shortage.
As she travels the state, Rodriguez said concerns about access to care are top of mind statewide.
There is so much more that unites us than divides us in the state of Wisconsin.
I'm Isabella Nieto for WXCO News.
So, how are the kids?
Well, Emily made the honor roll.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, we're really proud of her. Tyler, on the other hand, though,
What's going on?
he's been moody lately, just feeling down and not like himself.
Oh, we've been there. Nick was struggling last spring. He was so anxious and stressed.
Really? What helped?
Well, he joined the soccer team, and ever since, he's been a lot happier. He has more energy, he's less stressed, and he's definitely in a better mood at home. It's made a huge difference.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad he's getting out of the house, he's getting some exercise, and he's off his phone for once. It's been good for his mental health.
Sounds like it's been good for your mental health, too.
Participating in Wisconsin high school sports improves students' physical and mental health. Encourage your son or daughter to get involved. This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. I just don't know what to feel. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what to feel. Everything I thought that I knew starts to look so unreal. There's a ringing in my head that keeps me awake at night. Sometimes I don't know what is right. Today I saw a car push my little dog under its wheel. It did not even stop, it just sped off and out of sight. Sometimes I just feel so afraid, but I know that no one else has it made. So if I just believe in myself, I won't need no help from nobody else, and I can make it up. Everything will be okay. I got to keep on going on. There's nothing else I can do. But sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. I just don't know what to feel. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. Never let it any time. You could have found out there cry.
And welcome back, Chad Holmes Show, live on WXCO's YouTube channel. Again, go to youtube.com and the 98.9 WXCO YouTube channel. Also on WXCO.FM and the Civic Media app and the Sports 2 stream. With Ian Welsh, I am Chad Holmes. Again, just found out that tonight's Wausau West hockey game against Stevens Point has been postponed due to the frigid weather. And I don't think it'll be the last cancellation that we have over the next couple of days.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think there's a chance that a lot more activities might get canceled in the next few hours.
Oh, absolutely. Again, and the worst of it is not even here yet. And it's not until actually later on this evening where the extreme cold warning goes into effect.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be absolutely ridiculously cold. We were used to the cold in Wisconsin. I mean, not when the temperature is a negative as a high. That is like just unexpectedly cold.
Let me just go through a few of the cancellations right now, and for you folks out there who may be thinking about doing certain things here today. The DC Everett School District already has canceled their activity for tomorrow. So that has been already announced. Faith Christian Academy, also here in Wausau, has been closed for Friday. You got the Marshfield School District closed Friday. Merrill Public Schools closed Friday. Newman Catholic Schools closed on Friday. So again, we see Stevens Point area public schools closed on Friday. It'll be a virtual learning day. The Good News Project, of course, Christine Daniels and the folks over at the
Right.
Good News Project, they always have their Friday recycling. Well, tomorrow, the Good News Project is closed. So do not bring in those electronics for recycling tomorrow. Just wait till next week at the Good News Project.
Uh-huh.
Tomahawk School District is closed Friday as well. You have the Wausau area mobile meals, all services canceled Friday. And that's always, you hate to see that. But again, it's about being safe in what will be frigid temperatures. The Wausau Conservatory of Music is closed Friday as well. Wausau School District closed on Friday as well. Plus, the Wausau School District has announced that events, activities, and practices canceled. So I imagine that means that the scheduled broadcast tomorrow night of Wausau West Boys basketball against Wisconsin Rapids will be postponed as well. So, doggone it, I'm not going to have any games here for the next couple of days. So, darn weather. But those
It'll
are
be pretty quiet for you then.
I know. Rest my voice, I guess, for a couple of evenings. But that's a partial list of the closings and delays. And I would suggest as the day goes on, we're going to see a lot more added to the list for tomorrow, especially. Right now, again, the schools are open, but we look at the forecast for tonight. It really does take a turn to much colder. As I said earlier, that the extreme cold warning begins from 9 p.m. this evening until 1 p.m. tomorrow. And then that will transfer into an extreme cold watch from tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. through Saturday morning. And those dangerously cold wind chills of 35 to 45 below zero expected. So, again, just be safe out there.
Absolutely.
And if you can for your Friday night, just maybe watch a movie, get under the covers, and just I would say chill out, but I don't think anybody would have any problem chilling out.
Yeah, that definitely will not be the issue.
Nope, it will not. So again, it's a chance to maybe take a step back, read a book. I mean, that's something that we don't do enough of. We don't read a book enough.
And reading is a great escape.
Exactly.
It's a good way to use your imagination. I still read books, and I've read a lot of great books that are just, you can turn off your brain and just let your imagination have fun with it. Just get lost in the story and the characters. And reading is a really good way to, decrease your anxiety as well.
I want to remind folks that, again, we've been very fortunate over the last couple of weeks to be able to talk to a number of the Democratic candidates for governor. And as I said in the first hour, we hope to have the Republican candidates for governor as well. And they are being invited to join us here on this program. But very quickly, those Democrats have been able to jump on board and say, yeah, we'd love to come on your program. Had a chance to talk to David Crowley, the Milwaukee County executive. We had a chance to speak as well to the youngest candidate, Zachary Roper, 22-year-old. We talked to former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes, State Senator Kelda Royce on Monday of this week, Economic Development Chair Missy Hughes, another candidate, on Tuesday, and current Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez yesterday. And if you missed any of those discussions, I would encourage you to go back and listen to them as podcasts. Just go back to our podcast page. If you are on Spotify, just search WXCO News, and it's under the news section of there, the Chad Holmes Show. Also, if you go to our website, WXCO.FM, be able to listen back to as well. Go to the shows page and then go to WXCO News and listen in, because I think we've covered a lot of ground with some of these candidates, and pretty much introductory, because we do have time. We hope to bring these candidates back in during the course of the campaign, talk about more issues as they come even more, maybe more apparent during the next number of months. The primary is not until late summer. And then, of course, the general election is in November. And coming up on Monday of next week, we will have Fran Hong, another candidate for governor of the state of Wisconsin. Then on Tuesday, we'll be joined by a candidate for the state treasurer, Yi Leng Zhang, of course, here from central Wisconsin, so very active in our community. We'll talk to Yi coming up on Tuesday morning on the program. And then on Wednesday, mentioned this in the first hour, very excited to welcome back to the program for the first time in a while the former mayor of Wausau, Katie Rosenberg. Have not had an opportunity to sit down with Katie since she left office. We'll talk a bit about the aftermath of losing that election, talk about why she's back into electoral politics as she is a candidate for the Marathon County Board. We'll talk about some of the issues that she sees on that she will want to work on should she be elected to the board, and just talk generally about the draw of being involved in public service, because she is somebody that truly has I think, a calling for public service. And I think it'll be a wide-ranging discussion with Katie Rosenberg coming up on Wednesday, starting at 8:06 a.m. Right here on this program on 98.9 WXCO. And again, I have great respect for anybody, whether Democratic, Republican, Independent, Green Party, Socialist, whatever you may be. If you throw your head in the ring and be part of the system, try to be part of the solution to the issues that we have.
It shows courage.
It does. I think, think about it. I mean, you have to, number one, go and talk to people you don't know. I have a hard time with that. I go knock on doors. You don't know who's on the other side of that door, whether they want to talk to you or not. One of the things that I've learned in talking to some of these candidates in the last few weeks is when they're on the road, they're often on the phone trying to raise money. And that's one of the parts of the job that they've all really don't like, but in order to run a campaign, you need to have, people that support the campaign financially. So, there's so many reasons that you wouldn't want to be part of this system, but yet these folks do it because we need good people run for office, and then hopefully the right people get elected to office. So again, as we hear the conversations, you may agree, you may disagree, you may be somebody that's part of the party that the person's from, or maybe not part of the party. At the same time, there is a certain level of respect for anybody that's willing to come here and answer the questions and to sit down and have these discussions. So again, I do appreciate that, and I hope that you people out there appreciate it as well.
I would agree with that, absolutely.
And if you have any thoughts on the conversations that we've had already, maybe have some ideas for questions you'd like to hear when we have a chance to talk to these candidates as well, always open to hearing those suggestions. You can drop them in an email to me, or you can call us up here right now. Just give your thoughts at 715-814-9330. That's 715-814-9330 to join us here on the program. Want you to also be thinking about, again, as we continue in 2026, I've said this before, and I want to say it just to underline it, that I don't want to be a monologue. I don't want this to be where I or Ian are talking to you. I want it to be talking with you. I want you to be talking with us. I want you to give us ideas on topics that you think are important, because I think right now, in this year of 2026, and we've heard this many times over the past decade or so, these are the most important elections of your lives. And I think it's been true, and I think it is true again this year. I think that, and I said this to Nancy Sissel, I'm very curious to see what happens in 2026.
Yeah.
Because I do think this country is at a bit of a tipping point. What kind of country do we want? Do we want it to be the kind of country that we're seeing where Donald Trump is sending masked, armed enforcement officials into a city that was not known as this bastion of crime and inequity? Minneapolis, Minnesota is not that.
No.
And yet Donald Trump is basically trying to take it over.
He's basically trying to teach him a lesson for the people not voting for him.
Which is sad at the ultimate degree.
Pathetic, too.
And it may be getting even worse. The Pentagon, according to MS Now, formerly MSNBC, but now MS Now, the Pentagon has ordered active duty military police soldiers based in North Carolina to prepare for possible deployment to Minneapolis. A prepare to deploy order was issued yesterday for members of an Army military police brigade stationed at Fort Bragg, two of the people told MS Now. At least a few hundred soldiers are being prepared for the possible mobilization to Minneapolis, two of the people said. The possible infusion of military police is in addition to the Pentagon orders last Friday that 2 battalions with the Army's 11th Airborne Division prepare to deploy. The 11th Airborne is stationed in Alaska and specializes in winter weather conditions. Each infantry battalion has at least 500 soldiers. So let's put it out there.
Yeah.
Donald Trump and his Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, are planning to invade a United States city. Let that sink in. And when I say that I'm curious to find out how the people of this country are going to vote in November, that's why. Because we have a government right now that is preparing to use its own military against its own people. That is something that, let me put it another way. And I hate using this terminology. The idea of what if Barack Obama had done this, or what if Joe Biden had done this? What do you think Republicans would be saying? The articles of impeachment would already been filed. They would be claiming it's totally un-American, but their guy does it. It's okay. Yeah, go Donald.
What
Go
makes him
Donald.
so special?
So again, this is beyond the pale of what this country is all about. And again, a military occupation of an American city for no other reason than Donald Trump says he's trying to clean up illegal immigration. I mean, it is wrong. And if Donald Trump thinks that the people of this country are going to stand back and let him do this, I think he's sadly mistaken.
Yeah.
And I think in some ways, Donald Trump is looking for a response. And when I say Donald Trump, and I've said this before, I don't think Donald Trump is capable of any of this, to be honest with you, except for being the figurehead leader that allows it to happen.
He's basically the poster boy of the Republican Party. He's not the one in charge of all this. He's just the image of what the Republican Party stand behind.
And
they're the ones that are making all this stuff happen, and basically saying that, well, a Donald is trying to clean up America, or a Donald is trying to, make America great again, or Donald is trying to take care of all the criminals. It's just like they're using him as a poster boy when he has absolutely no idea what he's doing.
And the stories that are coming out, and again, this is Stephen Miller. He is a cruel man. Stephen Miller is the guy that is whispering in Trump's ear all the time about this. And again, Craig Calcaterra, who I get a newsletter from every morning, gave this story today that is just incredibly sad and also enraging at the same time. Calcaterra wrote, "Finally, I saw a photo of a young child, a little boy no older than 5, being taken away by ICE agents after his father was arrested. First, however, ICE agents apparently used him as bait to apprehend his own father. There was no effort made to find the child's mother. The child has reportedly been whisked alone to a prison in Texas. It's an open question as to whether he'll ever see his parents again." And there's a report about this story on it's there. And Calcaterra says then as well, "There have been scenes and stories like this every day. But yesterday, something broke in me and I was filled with a murderous rage. I feel so helpless. It all feels so hopeless. Twisted, hateful, and evil actors are using the power of the state to attack its own people for no cognizable reason and for no legitimate end. The attack is the end. It's terror, torture, child trafficking, and even murder for its own sake, ordered by lawless and immoral people and carried out by an American Gestapo who have been told that the law does not and never will apply to them. They have been told to brutalize others because, bleep them, that's why. And they are doing it with gusto while trying to foment riots so they'll have the pretext to expand their violent campaign." He finished by saying, "I had to close the laptop and sit in silence for a good long while after taking that all in." It's amazing. Again, anybody who thinks the city of Minneapolis, Minnesota deserves this kind of treatment by its federal government is out of their mind.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an average American city until Donald Trump sent his Gestapo in. And yet, and I'm going to point the finger at some of the leaders in the Democratic Party, the Chuck Schumers of the world, who continue to say, no, it's not about this. It's about the prices in the supermarket. Yes, that is a problem. But at the same time, you can't put your head in the sand, Chuck, and ignore what is being done to an American city. The leadership of the National Democratic Party has been missing in action. And I will throw in our Senator Tammy Baldwin. I mentioned earlier. Yeah, it's wonderful to put out a press release yesterday that I received talking about limiting, the credit card charges. I mean, great, fantastic.
That is an issue, but it's not the current issue that
But-
the Democratic Party needs to be focusing on right now.
Yeah, I mean, the capping credit card late fees at $8 is a great idea, but we have literally an American city burning. It's time for the National Democrats to do more. And yesterday, during the Tom Hartman program, which is on from 11 till 2 on 98.9 WXCO, Representative Mark Pocan of Wisconsin was on, and there were some angry callers during the segment, and basically saying, well, you're taking your eye off the ball. No, you guys are taking the eye off the ball here. More needs to be done. And I said earlier, I understand pragmatism when it comes to politics. I understand some of the limits that the Democratic Party has when coming to, say, impeaching and convicting the President of the United States.
Right.
I understand there are limitations. But to then say, well, because there's limitations, we're going to ignore it to a certain extent is the wrong way to go as well. So again, there is a lot happening. 2026 is going to be an incredibly interesting year, but it's also going to be, I think, when we look at American history, there are certain years that are very important years. I think you can go back to 1776. You can go back to 1789 when George Washington became the first president with the introduction of the Constitution. You can talk about 1860 when Abraham Lincoln was elected president, and 1861 when the Civil War began. You can talk about 1865 when the Civil War ended and the decisions that were made after the end of the Civil War that led to some major mistakes in the next decades. You can talk about 1929 and the stock market crash, and 1933 and the New Deal that led to Social Security and unemployment insurance and so many of the social safety nets that were put into place that still are counted on to this very day. You can talk about 1941 when Pearl Harbor got the United States into the Second World War. You can talk about the space race in the early 1960s. You could talk about the assassinations of political figures such as Martin Luther King and Bobby Kennedy in 1968. You can talk about a president resigning from office in 1974. I mean, you can just keep going down the line of important years in the history of this country. 2026 is going to be one of those years. I am certain of it. That the things that happen in this year and the decisions that are made in this year are going to be vitally important in terms of the future of this country that is celebrating its 250th birthday this year. And when you see military operations and you see 5-year-olds being hauled away to prison camps in Texas from Minneapolis, Minnesota, things are wrong. And Chuck Schumer and Tammy Baldwin and other national Democratic leaders need to be speaking louder. That's my editorial comment for this morning.
2026 is not only the 250th anniversary of America, but I think it also needs to be the battle for America's soul here.
That's
a lot is on the line here, and the people are rising up and speaking up against this, but the political leaders need to do something as well. The people are speaking up. Politicians need to speak louder, and not in a bad way. They need to get behind the people. They need to make decisive action, be more proactive, and they have to do the right thing here. Because if we don't do something right now, nobody will. I'm sorry to be blunt. That's what I believe. If we don't do it now, It's never going to be done.
Let's finish up our day with our daily history lesson. It is the 22nd day of January in 2026. Some famous events that occurred on this date in history. 1901, Queen Victoria, who reigned for more than 60 years, during which time the British Empire reached the apex of its power, died at the age of 81. On this date in 1905, on what was later known as Bloody Sunday, Russian workers marching on St. Petersburg were fired on by Russian troops. On this date in 1973, the United States Supreme Court issued one of its most momentous decisions, ruling in Roe v. Wade that a Texas statute criminalizing abortion in most instances violated a woman's constitutional right to privacy. It was overturned, however, in 2022. On this date in 1998, one of the most notorious domestic terrorists in U.S. history, Theodore Kaczynski, better known as the Unabomber, was sentenced to 4 terms of life in prison without parole. He had killed 3 people and injured 22 in 16 bomb attacks between 1979 and 1995. On this date in 2010, struggling with ratings, Conan O'Brien left The Tonight Show after hosting his last episode of the late-night television program. And on this date in 2021, 5 years ago today, one of the greats in Wisconsin sports history and in sports history as a whole, Hank Aaron, played for the Milwaukee Braves from 1953 to 1965, and for the Milwaukee Brewers in 1975 and 1976. Hank Aaron, one of the game's greatest hitters, died on this date in 2021 at the age of 86. All right, well, let's wrap it up here with our number for the day quiz.
Okay.
Chance for Ian to get back on the winning track. You're 1 out of 3 so far today, this week, I should say. So you need 1 more right to get a passing grade. You need 2 more right to get a winning week.
That's right.
And our number of the day will involve Hammerin' Hank Aaron. Yeah, great baseball star. The man who broke Babe Ruth's all-time record for home runs. And your number for the day is,
okay,
how many home runs did Hank Aaron hit in his career? How many home runs did Hammerin' Hank Aaron finish with in his Major League Baseball career?
Okay.
Your choices are 714 home runs, 755 home runs, 805 home runs. So 714, 755, or 805.
Like you said yesterday, I don't know too much about baseball.
I keep throwing baseball questions at you.
That's okay, though.
Well, Hank Aaron
like
deserves it because he was a great man as well as a great baseball player.
And you said he beat Babe Ruth's record.
Yep, he beat the Sultan of Swat's all-time record.
Okay.
So how many home runs did Hank Aaron hit in his illustrious career that began in 1954 and finished in 1976?
714, 755, or 805. You know what? I'm going to say final answer. I'm going to go with 755. Final answer, I'm going with 755.
All right. I will say that 714 was the number of home runs that Babe Ruth hit. That's what Hank Aaron beat.
Oh, I didn't guess that one.
Yep. And Hank Aaron ultimately finished his career with 755 home runs.
Nice.
So congratulations.
Passing week so
2
far.
out of 4. So we'll see if we can get a winning week tomorrow.
Very nice.
Tomorrow morning, in the first hour, we'll be joined by Paul Micklick. Get you ready for a Wisconsin sports weekend. We'll update you, of course, on the frigid weather as well.
Yep.
And let you know about any cancellations and closings on the way to work or wherever you're headed tomorrow as well. Ian, have a good rest of your day.
You too, Chad. Happy Thursday, everybody.
And hope you can join us tomorrow morning starting at 8:06 on 98.9 WXCO.